Hi everybody, Ben here from Artless Ordinary. So I am going to do a cloud pour. So I've mixed up my paints, but before I do that, I will show you the last swipe I did. So I don't know if you can see the metallic shimmer, especially the brilliant gold, but even that is it deep turquoise? The colours in this one have come up really good, so I'll just keep wiggling it around and hopefully you guys see it on a bit of an angle where the colours are. But really happy with this. It's turned out so nice, and it dried relatively quickly in this hot weather, so yeah, really pleased. So I'm doing a big one this time, so well, bigger. So this was the last one that I did, which is a 12 by 16. I am going to do a 16 by 20. So 16 by 20s don't fit in my plastic trays, so I have to do it just over the pad, which I haven't done normally with the pour before. So I'm a little bit nervous about it going everywhere. So I have got the satin enamel decoart in pure white. So the mixtures are, so the colours I'm using is lemon yellow, pink, cerulean blue, I think that's called medium green, and light purple. So all of these are 4 grams satin enamel, 16 grams paint, 40 grams floetrol, and water to make them runnish consistency. So they're thickened up a little bit again. With this warm weather, they kind of keep thickening up as I, like 5 minutes after I've re-added. But see how it just keeps running off the stick? It does leave a slight mound, but not a lot. I could probably make them a little bit thinner, but then I got to make my main paint thinner. I haven't got time for all that. So it's just a matter of keeping the consistency pretty even. So that is that. Now, so I'm going to have to keep my workplace a little bit more tidier because I don't know how much of this paint's going to go everywhere. And the main background colour is phthalo blue, which again, that runs off the stick. This needs to be a tiniest little bit thinner than the cloud paint. So again, just watch it for if it just like looks like it's thickening up or not. So this is phthalo blue, 80 grams paint, 160 grams floetrol, and water added to thin it out. So what we need to do is we need to add about 1/3 of this into the cup. It's probably, oops, it's probably about 1/3 there. And now we want to add these. So, like I have said before, you want them to sink in, and I want to put them on different edges. I don't want to put them all in the same spot. So I am just going to pour this straight down onto one side, or relatively onto one side. And then just scrape the rest. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the cup a little bit and pour it in just next to where I poured that one in. I know this part doesn't look like fun, but it's actually quite fun watching it pour in really deep and sink, and then getting different effects. Then I'm going to go pink next. So I know it didn't look like this cup had very much in it at the beginning, but once I've added all these, this cup's going to be really full. A majority of this cup is actually cloud paint that's had cloud pardon me, paint added into it. Now I'm going to go yellow. So every time you do this, the colours are mixing more and more each time inside the cup. So, because when this paint hits it in heavily, it pushes the paint that's already in the cup around a bit. So, and green in the last spot. So I'm hoping for something really cool with this one. I really enjoyed the last one. A lot of people thought it was really good. So now this is getting moved off to the side. And now this paint, we want to cover the surface. So I think I have enough paint. It was actually hard. I had to, with my last one, I had to add up all the paint that I used. Then I had to find out how many square inches there was in a 12 by 16 and divide it by how much paint I used. Then I had to, so I worked out how much paint was per square inch. Then I had to work out how many square inches this canvas is and adjust this to so then I times it by how much paint per square inch. So yeah, it worked out that it was a fair bit more paint, but it's the first time I've used this canvas, so I just wanted to make sure. So hopefully I have enough. I do believe I do, but sometimes you never know. Yeah, by the looks of it, I do. So we are just covering the canvas. As I have said in the past, it does not have to be an absolute perfectly even coverage. You just want the paint to be on it because you want this paint to slide across the canvas and not roll across the canvas, because when it rolls it buries the paint, kind of rolls over itself and gets buried. So this time we don't want that. Even though we pour it as a dirty pour into the cup, we don't want it to alter once it goes onto the canvas. So this is just covering up. So today's Boxing Day here in Australia, which is the day after Christmas Day, and it was a little bit cooler than it has been, so it was a little bit more pleasant day. Christmas Day was fairly hot, but I do live in Australia, and I do live in Western Australia, which is a hot place to be. Depends where you are. If you're on the coast, it's actually quite pleasant because you get a nice sea breeze come through nearly every single afternoon without fail. I don't live on the coast. I live close to it, but when I say close, I mean half an hour drive. Alrighty, we're nearly there, guys. Just you do the right preparation and you get a better result with your artwork. Look at all the effects coming up in the cup. I don't know if you can see it from your angle. I'll show you before I start tipping it. Alright, I'll keep that over here because, well, I don't get paint on the floor. Alright, I'm going to put some gloves on for a second. Actually, no, I'm going to need the gloves on, that's right. Sorry, my brain's not working. Now I'm just going to double check that it is recording. I think so. I can't properly see the camera. Sometimes I have to have it higher up to fit the canvas into the screen, and by doing so I can't see the camera. Alrighty, so all I'm going to do now, just a little bit, is just tilt it a little bit. I don't want it to go over the edges. I'm just trying to make it a little bit more even. So again, this isn't me trying to be perfect, it's just me trying to get a bit of paint a bit more even on the canvas. But I want that paint to be there, so I don't want to tip any off. That will be it then. Okay, so here we are. Can you see all the effects that are coming up in there? So now we would like to pinch this cup, and we want to pull this from a height because we want it to sink down into the paint. So it is a proper dirty pour, so these bugs have becoming a nuisance. They're flying into everything lately. And I didn't even see a bug in the room. Just I think they come when they see me put on these lights. They find their way through the fly screen or something, and they get attracted to my lighting. Alright, so here we go. Pour it from up high. Let it sink down. Oops. Okay. Wish I didn't get that squiggly line, but I did. Alright. Wipe my hands a little bit. Put that there, out of the way. Get the gas bottle. Oops. There we go. Okay, off, thank you. So now we will just give it a little bit of a tilt. Back and forth, kind of to a corner. Don't want to go over just yet. Come back to a corner. Come back. Come down, come back. See how the paint's flowing quite easily? It's actually, it feels like there's a lot of paint here, so maybe I have a little bit too much. It's not always easy when you're doing a new size canvas to work out if you have enough or not. I will grab my corner catcher. Oh, luckily they fell off before I'd done my painting. Alrighty, so I'm going to put a corner catcher there. It's my force of habit is to always do the same corners in the same order. So I just want to go slowly, get it to the corner, and then once it's there we need it to get into that corner without losing too much. So this corner catch is probably not big enough for this size canvas, because I feel like I was losing a little bit. So I may have to make up a new corner catcher. So in that corner, back out, take away the corner catcher. Bring that around, attach it to this corner, bring the weight of the paint so when it's about to the middle again, then we can start tilting down into that corner, back a little bit, take the corner catcher away. Bring the paint to the middle. Now off to this corner, into that corner, come back a little bit, take the corner catcher away. There we go. Now we want to bring this paint into the middle again. So now from here, this is where now you work out if there's a spot you want to tip off, if there's not, what you would like to do. And for now, I'm just going to move it around a little bit. Not really tipping much off. Kind of just moving the paint, seeing what effects are going to come up. You can move the paint as slow or as quick as you prefer. Just always watch your artwork to see whether it's going funny patterns or not. You don't want to alter it too much where it looks weird. Alright, a little bit of paint went off that corner. Now we're going up to this side. I don't want too much to go off that side, so just a tiny little bit. Bring it back, bring it down, give it a bit of a tilt this way. So there's definitely a decent amount of paint on this canvas. So I probably could readjust my figures to be a little bit less. Okay. Now I feel like I'm distorting my middle area a little bit too much. Which means I may leave it as it is now. So I wasn't sure how this was going to look because I did not put in the same paints as the last one, and this doesn't have that beautiful orangey colour that the last one had, which I loved. But I wanted to try different paints, same technique, bigger canvas, and just do a little experiment using a couple of so when you do experiments with the technique or something you're already doing, you've got to try not to change too many things at once. So usually the best rule of thumb is change one thing, and then you know whether that one thing that you've changed has made a difference or not. If you change 3 things and your artwork comes out perfect, you got to figure out, like, sometimes you got to figure out what you actually did properly to make it perfect. But this, I changed the size of the canvas and the brands of the paint. Apart from, I did use marte for the base before, but I use marte for the actual colors as well. So that's really the only difference, and I just put more paint because it's a bigger canvas. So 2 factors. One, probably could try using less paint, so that, because this will take a lot longer to dry now because there's a lot more paint sitting on this canvas. And 2, just what effects will come up now being marte paints. So I am going to give it another quick little torch, just to make sure that, because I can see a few more bubbles. But this will also reveal more cells or clouds, because underneath these bubbles is going to be different colours of paint, usually. So that green's come up really, really well. Not so much, a little bit of the yellow. Purpley, pink. Don't know if that's the purple or the pink. And then we've got the blue. Not a lot of, I actually don't think there's a lot of the purple or the pink in there. But then it may just mix with the blue and just make it a different colour. But yeah, we now need to just pause this. Let this settle in, see if it's going to make any more effects come up or whether it's going to just sit the way that it is. But I'm actually really happy with how this technique is working, and I'm definitely going to do more. I'm going to try doing ones without being pastels, but just remember, anytime you add the white satin enamel, you are whitening the colour that you have. So if you're going to use like a red, it's going to make it a softer red. It won't still be a heavy red, or it will make it slightly pinky. So keep that in mind. So let's see, we are in camera angle. Yes, we are going to pause. All right, we have returned. So I don't really think much more happened in this. The pearls may have, or the clouds may have formed more. It's hard for me to tell because I see it slowly, when with the camera you actually see an instant change. So all I have to do is I do have to scrape the edges and also just double check that the paint has covered all surfaces of the canvas. So when you do that scrape, you just have a look and make sure that there isn't any spots that have been missed. How is this corner? Tiny little bit there. So I just dabbed a little bit on, making sure that the bit that I dabbed on was the same colour as what is roughly on that corner. And that corner's done too. So that's it. That is all done. I'm just going to clean off my tool. As we know, I like to clean off all of these straight away. It keeps them so much more in better condition and easier to manage. So that's it. Now I will just check and scrape that again in probably another 10 minutes to see if it's dripping. Once it stops dripping, then you don't need to worry anymore. So we will come down and have a close-up now. Okay, so this is a bigger canvas. I can tell because I have to hold the camera higher up, so it's harder for me to see the screen. But I'm liking this. I've got nice yellow and green clouds over here. I've got a real strong band of green going up around there. I've got pinks with some yellows here. I've got blues and pinks, could even be purple over here. Everywhere you look, there is actually little clouds or pearls. Well, they're clouds in my eyes, cloud cells from the satin enamel. So we'll come down for a close-up so I can actually see what I'm doing. So there you go. As you can see, there is little detail all the way around. Each part of this canvas has got some clouds forming, giving us all different effects. So these corner bits is from using the corner catcher. If you don't want to use a corner catcher, you don't have to. It does give you that and that one there as well. You get them when you use a corner catcher. So if you I wouldn't reduce the amount of paint if you didn't want to use a corner catcher. I would keep to the same ratio. I will probably reduce the amount of paint and continue using a corner catcher. So just keep that in mind, because when you tip it off, you lose a lot more paint when you're not using that catcher. And this is the center. So the little bit that didn't sink is that little bit there. But the rest all was parts that sank and then came up as a pearl cell cloud. And see the little tiny speck clouds that have come up? That's from torching. So when you torch, it pops a little bubble and the colour underneath comes up, but it doesn't really spread a lot. But it does give nice little effects. So over here where the green is, you've got the big ones, you've got the medium ones, and you've got the tiny little ones. They're the bubbles that have popped. So always keep that in mind if that's not the desired effect. We've got these ones which are mixed colours. I'm really liking this. Got bits and pieces all over the place. And as you can see, there's not a lot of the strong phthalo blue. There is bits and pieces of it all the way through, but it's not overly strong dark. It becomes quite light. So yeah. So this is a cloud pour. I don't know if it's a cloud pearl pour or just a cloud pour, but it's brought up these wonderful cells. They're awesome. They dry extremely flat. They don't have like little indentations where you can, like with a silicone oil can do. And you don't always know what you're going to get. And if you wanted to pour all the paint in the same spot, you can, but I found it's better when I poured it in different sides of the cup. It spread the clouds out all over. But you could put, so when I poured all my paint in, I poured the whole lot in at once. You could go half the cup and then do another half the cup. You can mix and match it to how you desire to have it. That's the fun part about this. You do what you like because it's art, it's fun, it's different. So that is my art. I'm really happy with this one. I do want to try some in less pastel colours, but adding the white satin enamel does make them a little bit lighter in colour, changes their colour a bit. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you for another pour soon. Have a good night. So like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you very much everyone. Catch you later. Bye.